It's amazing how so many of the Appalachian Trail memoirs that I've read to prepare for my through hike have set me in a political direction. So I want to just share an excerpt from Mountain Miles, a memoir of section hiking of the Appalachian Trail by Mark Clegg. The high paying jobs for unskilled labor are gone. There is no longer a hillbilly highway that will lead to economic salvation. The small cottage industries, hostels, outfitters, shuttles, that have sprung up as the Appalachian Trail continues to grow in popularity have eased the pain only slightly. Most of the jobs tied to these businesses seem to be held by outsiders who have moved into the region, attracted by its climate and beauty. By contrast, those who have multi-generational ties to Appalachia often feel trapped and left behind. Studies show that the white working class in America is the most pessimistic group in the country, much more than African Americans or Hispanics in the same economic strata. The inner spark that their ancestors possessed seems extinguished, and some blame their problems on outsiders, particularly the government and the quote unquote elites, and all too often turn tragically to opiates to ease the pain. What stood out to me about that is I've always lived in blue Democratic areas. I grew up in Buffalo, New York. I did my college in Portland, Oregon. I also lived outside of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and Northfield, and those were all blue strongholds. And so it's hard as a person who's lived primarily in Democratic areas to understand the appeal of Trump, and that is why reading helps us as human beings to grow, and most importantly, to understand others. This segment about how the white working class in America is the most pessimistic group in the country, much more than African Americans or Hispanics in the same economic strata, and that the inner spark that their ancestors possessed seems extinguished, and some blame their problems on outsiders, particularly the government and the quote unquote elites, and all too often turn tragically to opiates to ease the pain. I was able to make the connection of how Trump became so popular among the white working class. Trump's popularity has often been a mystery to me, as I think politicians should provide economic advantages to their constituencies. I work as a teacher, and so I've historically seen the Democratic Party of New York or Vermont or California or Minnesota or Oregon to a large extent has helped teachers or nurses or firefighters to get higher wages. And so you see there's a give and take. Vote a certain way, you can achieve a middle class or an upper middle class standard of living. And that's why I've always had a hard time wrapping my head around the fact that Trump is so popular among working class people. And again, I've always said, well, what is Trump doing financially for working class people who are struggling? And the answer is that psychologically, Trump appeals to their grievances.